Welcome to your first flipped classroom lesson. What you're going to be doing while you watch this video is you're going to be using the handout worksheet that you received in class to take notes on what we go over here today.
Keep in mind that while you guys are watching your first flip lesson that you guys can rewind and pause if you want to jot down notes, or if there's something that we're going a little too fast over, that you guys can just hit back and it's at your own pace.
And this is something that you need to bring to class tomorrow, Friday, woohoo, last day of the week. And you'll need to bring that to class in order to prepare for our lesson of where we'll use this TPCASTT strategy. So, I'm Miss Wood.
And I'm Miss Buis.
And prepare for adventure. So for our first letter in the TPCASTT strategy, the first T stands for title. And this is where, before you even read the poem, you're going to just look at the title. And you're going to write down what you think the poem is going to be about. So for example, if you have a title called Trees, you might want to say, well, I know this poem might have to do with nature or with different trees. So on your paper, you want to write down the first T stands for title. So before you read the poem, what do you think it's going to be about? Our next one, P, is for paraphrase. And remember, paraphrase is where you are almost summarizing the poem in your own words. So after you read the poem, you're going to explain it in your own words. So for example, you might want to explain the punctuation cues, different ideas that you see or that are expressed. And typically, paraphrase is going to be a sentence or two, what the poem is about. Next, we have connotation. Now, connotation should be a review, but we are going to be going a little more into this in class. So remember, connotation is where you're going to look for any words or phrases that evoke a feeling. So you might have a word in the poem that might have more than one meaning. It's not the dictionary definition. They almost use the word as if in a negative or a positive way. For example, the word hot. If used a certain way, it's not going to mean that something is physically hot to the touch, but it's hot as in cool or sexy. Our next letter, A, is going to be very similar to connotation, but A stands for attitude. And this is going to be for any of those mood words that you find within the poem. So you're going to look at what is the speaker's attitude in the poem. What are their feelings towards the situation? And remember, you can pause this video at any time if you need more time in order to jot down your notes. Our next letter is S, and S stands for shift. Now, shift, if you like to bake, shift is when you move things around. So in this case, we're looking for movement in the poem. So for example, you might find a shift or a change in the attitude. The author might start out really depressed and sad, but then towards the end have a shift in his attitude to be more positive or negative. So you want to look for any type of change or shift in the poem. This could also be a change in punctuation or the way the poem looks for the different stanzas. Our next T, we're actually going to go back and revisit the title. So we're going to look at the title again. Now that we've read the poem, we've looked at it a little more in depth, we're going to write what we now think the title means. So how has your ideas about the meaning of the title changed? This time it's not just about the trees. What is it really about? What does the title mean now? And the very last section of TPCASTT is theme. And remember, theme is not just the topic or summarizing the poem, it's the overall message of the poem. What does the author want you to get out of this poem, or what is he saying? So for example, our poem about trees, it's not just about trees. Our author is really saying that we need to protect the environment. We're looking at what the author is actually saying. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Again, this TPCASTT strategy can be used at any time in order to analyze a poem. And when you analyze, you want to remember
that you're breaking it apart. So knowing that I've always had a hard time with poetry, this is a great strategy that would help me understand it just as you would understand it.
So with using this strategy, now that we've broke it down, then we can go back and actually reflect on it. And in a paragraph format or whatever we might ask you to do, you can use that information to then analyze your poem, to look at the meaning of it.
So now that you guys have practiced this, what we need you to do as a reminder is to bring this to Miss Wood's class or Miss Hedrick or Buis's class tomorrow. We will be going over this. Thank you once again for spending your time with us, and we hope you enjoyed your first flip lesson.